Alright, a lot of people seem to ask how I put LEDs into fursuits. I'll let you know what's happening right now. So, I work in collaboration with a suit maker who has built the suit. They sent it to me, so I have the bodysuit. I don't have the head though, but I do have dimensions for the head. So all I really need is the bodysuit, so I can line up sections like this that has to have lights on it. And what I do next is I measure everything, and I create on a whiteboard basically the wiring diagram. Start with the controller. I have like little wires where things will go, connectors. Everything green is wire lengths. Everything in purple is number of LEDs, and so on and so forth. Red is just notes. Like kind of where they're situated, left and right, that kind of thing. So it goes into the left side first. Whoops. And actually, this doesn't exist anymore. USB. I'll get rid of that. So all this whiteboard translates into this on the table. Here's the controller. This particular one I used the Teensy. So here's the Teensy right here. It has a microphone right here. I just heat shrink it all together. Comes with connectors. The connectors get labeled. So like right body. There's right body there. At the other end, we'll also say right body. These LEDs are all waterproofed and flexible. They're all individually hand soldered. The only thing here that is not hand soldered is these strips that are inside the visor, because they don't move. As you can see right now, it's animating to my voice. But yeah, everything I built is disconnectable. Like here's the tail connection. You can just pull it apart. I also add like a little tactile nubs so you can feel which way it goes in. Stuff like claws, this all connects. And I do things. So this particular suit will have 3 buttons. There's so on one side there's 2 buttons, on the other side here's a third. So this will be on the right side. This will be situated on the back of your wrist, and this will be in your palm, kind of like right there. Same thing for the left button, it'll be on your left palm. How you control this suit is they happen to have claws that light up. So I use the claws as a temporary menu. So when you hit the wrist button once, it'll turn on the menu, and it goes away after a second and a half. If you were to hit it again and hit a button, you can index your mode ahead any way you want. If you go past it, you can hit your left button and go backwards. And say you memorize, you can stand in front of the mirror and see how your suit looks when I'm done programming it. So if I have categorized, so all the green are music reactive modes. So right now I'm in a different music reactive mode. It just blinks whenever I do it. Even the face changes too for a different mode. So it says OWO, or I can hit a left button or right button. It can do a different animation. All this stuff's programmed in like that. See? Yeah, so I program it, and then I come along here and I'll bring up the thing. Here's the code, Arduino code. I map everything usually onto a spreadsheet like that. All the LEDs, everything gets mapped out, even the wire lengths. I figured this particular suit has 103 feet of wire in it. That's a lot of wire. And all here is just the different color coded, like this is like yellow LEDs would be here, blue LEDs would be here, because this suit does not have white fur where LEDs go. It's all colored, so I display only the pertinent color behind the fur. It makes it more efficient. Yeah, I break it down into address arrays, so everything is addressed. So I can say like center chest outer will be blue, center chest inner would be yellow, that kind of thing. So yeah, these LEDs will get either permanently sewn in to the locations. If they're really complicated, they get sewn in. If they're not, they could be a fabric sleeve. Every single wire will be covered up by a piece of fabric, something like this. This is athletic knit or athletic type fabric. This will be channeling the wires inside the body. So this gets sewn in, and once it's done, it's going to be a huge network of tubes and then you use a stainless steel wire to fish your wires through and make it look nice. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to clean, but you know, it's when you have this many LEDs in your suit, you know, and you need to clean it, you're gonna have to expect it's gonna be extra maintenance involved when you have this many LEDs. Now, since every single one of these LEDs is waterproofed, every end has, like, here's an end right here. This is heat. This is clear heat shrink, and it goes to a different layer of heat shrink and comes up to a wire. There's like 2 layers of hot glue in here that I put in every time, and I put a lot of hot glue in here so it stays sealed and stays flexible. And again, everything is flexible and positionable too. Like, you can heat this up and make a shape like this, or you can make a shape like that. You know, it just started off as a straight LED strand, and you just heat it up and it stays that way until you heat it again. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about that. This one also has a fan built in, so the fan is actually being powered by the body. Oh yeah, let's talk about power. So right now I'm experimenting. This is the first time I'm experimenting with it. I'm using USB power banks to power the suit. Normally when there's 390 LEDs, I don't use USB power banks because it would overpower them, because, you know, this is actually drawing about 7 to 8 amps at maximum brightness. Like, if I go to the first mode, the first bright mode right here, there you go, everything's on. You can sort of hear the fan slow down a little bit where it's under load. These particular power banks are kind of going to be struggling to probably get a little warm. Yeah, a little bit temperature to it. The idea was, I have 4 USB connectors coming out. You see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're even numbered. I have everything numbered. I use labels everywhere. And over here, you see the other end, you got number 2 to number 2, right? So what I've done was, I literally just calculated. Actually, you can probably see the spreadsheet. I did a power calculating thing. Is right here. There you go. Power. Boom. So this is how it'll spread out. So get the head on one zone for 104 LEDs. Left body plus arm 95. Right body plus arm 95, and back, chest, and tail is 96. So the back, where the back is this. This is the chest, and the tail is Summer's here. I just had this all over the place. So all those are actually routed right back to here. So they are all, the power's all routed, and the power is not shared between the power banks, if you know what I mean. Like, they're not all just bound up into one and spread out, because I had a worry that, like, the frequency of these things might clash with each other because they're a switching power supply. So more testing is required, but I just split it up. So, like, if I unplug one right now, like if I unplug number 2, oops, I did something there. I'll unplug the computer, and yeah, so I unplugged that, and suddenly half the suit is dead. So if that power bank dies, then yeah, okay. Sorry, my thoughts. The reason why I did that is because if one power bank dies, and suddenly the load, if it's a parallel bus system, it would try to draw way too much current from our power bank and overload it. So I just wanted, if one power bank shuts off, then turn it back on. I should turn on. There, turn on. I'll see, now it's getting overloaded, so now I'm turn this off. Of course it does that. There. So turn it back on. Turn that back on. Okay, now it's going to turn on for me. Only on the camera, right? Anyway, get the idea. These are old power banks, so I just threw these in because my other ones were on charge. So anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to have separate power paths to power everything, and so it doesn't overload one particular power bank. So one of them can still continue to go. Now the number one, this one here, this actually powers the controller. So this one has to be either plugged in first or run live first. So if I was to plug this into, say, this known working power bank, hold on a second. There. So and here's the boot up section, by the way. Just everything turns on, and after 5 seconds it goes to default. I'll go back down to blank. So that's how that works. So anyway, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. But that's generally how my systems work. Is I measure it, design it, write everything down, create a spreadsheet, build it, get it laid out on here like this, and code it, and map out all the zones, map out, left feet claws or right feet claws or whatever, speaker center, speaker yellow part, like whatever name I want to give it. So it's quite a complicated suit. There's a lot of parts moving everywhere, but yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video and you understand a little more of what I do here.